the YouTube thing. Okay,
You own.
nice.
Yeah. Once again, hi everybody. Welcome to the game today. I am your host, Claret. He is my co-host, Malcolm. And yeah, it's NBA opening night, and we are here enjoying the action. You can catch us on YouTube, here on Instagram. We both live. And yeah, let's have a good time. Malcolm, how are you doing today?
I'm all right, guys. Just here chilling, ready to begin this. Ready for the new season, and yes, I'm hyped about what's to come. So I hope you guys are well and welcome again.
Ye-
I've been to.
Yeah, I see good people here. I feel like I should stop whatever we're supposed to be doing and just talk to the people I see here, because they're all people that I miss, and yeah, much love to you people. But Malcolm, let's get right into business. We don't have as much time, right?
Yes, sir. It's 12:30 a.m. So we'll need to
We,
sleep and
we've
wake up for school tomorrow.
now we've got the show in Boston, and your Celtics and the Knicks. They kind of did magic, and Josh Hart went on to say that they should be drug tested by the NBA just because of how much threes they were shooting, and rightfully so. I think they set the new record for threes in a single season game, and just out of the blue, what did you see for the Celtics? We've been talking all off season long that they are they're still the best team, also being the defending champions. But what did you think of their performance tonight?
Yeah, I thought Celtics was brilliant today. They didn't change for a bit. I thought this Celtics team didn't lose any player, and they don't need any new player. I thought they were brilliant today. Jason Tatum was brilliant. Jalen Brown. I mean, pretty much the whole starting five dropped double digits. If Al Horford is also getting 11 points, even the bench was brilliant as well. And I thought that I mean, it felt like a Celtics vintage performance of like NBA playoffs, and I didn't see any sense of weakness in them. I mean, they wanted to break the record today, like the because Bucks had the record for the most 3 pointers made in a game of 29 against Miami in 2020. So they wanted to break it, but in the first quarter they were missing a lot of threes. They were just breaking, as we say. But
Yeah,
with the way they began the first three quarters, in fact, I watched the first two quarters, and it was like a 30-point lead, and I child a game, and child a game because even like the starters were removed. But I thought from what I watched, and obviously the scoreboard says it all. They were absolutely brilliant on defense, on offense. They're role players. I mean, same thing. Nothing new. Same thing. We analyzed.
yeah,
We talked about the Celtics, the whole playoffs, game in game out of how good they were and how few of the weaknesses they had. So still, they are the team to beat in the Eastern Conference or in the league for that matter. Let alone the Eastern
yeah.
Conference. They were brilliant today, and give them credit. I don't even remember the scoreboard. It was like 131, 109. Yeah,
You,
but they were
you don't
brilliant.
need to know the Knicks game score. You just know that the Celtics went over 130, and that's it. But still on the Celtics right now, Malcolm, talk to me, right? You had the Olympics, and you were say taking home the gold, right? But what do you have to tell Steve Carr? Of course, he's my coach, but right now I'm on
Yes,
Liverpool. But
yes, yes,
what do you
yes,
have to
yes.
tell?
I saw
Jason
that. I saw.
Tatum comes out and kind of say, "Hey, people, I didn't play in the Olympics, but I don't know why because this is what I came to talk to you."
I saw that when I was just from class. Like I checked my Instagram, and I saw like a post from I think Sports Center or ESPN, Jalen Brown telling the guys, people that I felt bad for Jason Tatum. It sucked that after what he had just gone through, he was benched by Steve Kerr, and I think that was absolute. I will not. I will keep on reiterating that what Steve Kerr did to Jason Tatum was awful. And if it was a club, he needed to have gotten fired. Luckily, he resigned, so no complaints because he resigned on his own, so he fired himself. But that's intolerable. You cannot do that to someone who had just won the NBA championship. And by that, guys who don't remember, Jason Tatum was benched like a couple of games, and yet he had just won the NBA title. And you know who was starting in front of him? his own teammates who he leads in Boston Celtics, Derrick White and Drew Holiday. They were
Yeah,
starting ahead of him, and yet he's the leader of those two guys. So it was absolutely awful. I think Jalen Brown, but if there are people, if there are two players, or if there's a team that will understand what it means against being against the world and against media, it's the Celtics because
yeah, yeah.
Jalen Brown with the MVP shouts, with the All Star voting, he was snapped as well. With the Olympics calling up, he didn't go. So if there's a team that understands, like every time they are against the Celtics, every time they lose a game, everyone criticizes them like as if it's a very big deal, and when they win, they give them little credit. So if there's a team that can go through that, and that's why they were like, now we're coming out today, we're not losing on ring ceremony, on our ring night, on opening day, and there was no doubt Celtics was going to win today. But what Jalen Brown said was actually true. Jason Tatum may have hid his emotions. I agree with him, but inside, as a
Yeah.
professional player, you've just got into the cover page of 2K25 and you're benching me. Hell no, that's
In the
intolerable.
Olympics, the biggest stage, if you
Yeah,
will. But really, look, I agree with you. I think that Steve Kerr did the most wrong thing to bench, Jason Tatum. And I hope he learned from that because I think he might be starting to bench Steph Curry soon and then see the Warriors go down once again. But
well,
let's not go off topic.
well,
But
he's not the coach of US anymore, so
uh,
no one
you
cares.
know, but really, Jason Tatum again, right? 37 points. Yeah, you know, being against media or media being against you, him and Jalen Brown, right? To me, today was a statement game for him to say, "Look, I'm starting this season chasing something, not just a
Yeah,
ring, but also an MVP." And that's the
yeah.
statement. Do you share the same sentiment?
Yeah, I know people have been making predictions of who the MVP has been, and I've had a lot of Jason Tatum shouts, Anthony Edwards and Luka Doncic shouts. So definitely Tatum will be back to claim it. Last year actually he was quite in the shout until like February. I think after
Yeah,
February he dropped off. He dropped off a bit. Partly because the Celtics were too good and he wasn't playing a lot of minutes, and they were using the bench a lot because they were like 20 games ahead of the second position. You may
yeah,
argue that, and again, also in the shots he was taking, he was not really making them. But before, he was actually in the conversation, top five and all that. So he's coming back for it this time, going to play a lot of minutes, because he's in the prime of his career. But yes, I think he's in a shout for MVP, with Anthony Davis, who we shall talking to as well. But yes, Tatum will come back, will come today. This time he came for a statement win, and he showed the world who he is, and everyone knew who he is. But before, on the Tatum topic, I want to talk about the hitch in his shot. He talked about how he wants to remove the hitch in his shot,
yeah, yeah,
so he can be more effective. Yeah, because you can see like whenever he gets the ball, he takes that 1 second when he pulls the ball
yeah,
below his hip, and then he carries on and shoots it. And even when he's shooting it, it's like short of a slow release compared to like someone like DiVincenzo or like Steve or like
yeah,
Clay Thompson. I'm not trying to compare the shooters to him, but like you can see his hitch, it's like a really slow hitch, and it's easier to contest and smother his 3 pointer, and it's usually going off the rims. But he's improved on that. He's worked on it. I think he was like 8 for 11 from the 3 point range today. Yeah,
good.
that's crazy. That's crazy. So he's going to come. He's going to be better than last season. He's in the prime of his career, which makes things interesting this year from in terms of the league.
Look, there are so many people, so many guys that are playing at the highest level, but at the same time, it's the peak of the based time to like just go out there and be great. Probably the range is like 29 and 25, and that range is a lot of guys, in the league. But you talked about improvements and Jason Tatum being able to improve the heat in his three-point shot. Yeah, I think you're right because when I was watching, he looked more in tune. Like the shot comes off very fast, and he doesn't do like the back and then shoot again anymore. And I think it's gonna be huge for them going forward because sometimes he would, get the ball and it has to save in it, to be able to shoot the ball. But now if he can just catch and shoot easy and get it off quick, it's gonna be really good. But also before we get to the Knicks, right? I just want to talk about something. I know you said the Celtics kind of came out the same way, shooting threes and looking good. But I want to talk about their young guys, right? Peyton Pritchard and all those same houses being there. But the recent draft picks kind of showed improvements, which helps them to not sign a lot of other guys on the bench because they have guys that are under the rookie deals that can just play on the bench because their starting five or their bench is already stacked. And in particular, I want to talk about Tillman, Xavier Tillman. His shot looks pure. His three-point looks pure. When he was in Memphis, that shot wasn't falling. And now, if you have a bigger guy that can play alongside Hooper and can switch the flow, oh, I'm telling you, they are coming for everything. But moving forward and quick, let's talk about the Knicks, right? After making the trade, coming into this season with, giving up Dante DiVincenzo and acquiring, cards who they thought would be, a great addition and, being able to shoot the three, pick and pop, and probably pick and roll sometimes. Talk to me. Today they looked like they were struggling. They looked like the ball wasn't moving. They looked like they didn't know what they were doing. The ball was here, but the communications went right defensively and offensively. Talk to me. What did you see from the Knicks?
Um, I'm not going to criticize the Knicks a lot. I didn't think they were that awful. Um,
Now what?
but they were not very brilliant, but it's expected. That's what I'm trying to say. My point is that I expected them. Obviously, I didn't expect them to win because they have a new team, and they're still trying to figure
Mhm.
out some stuff on how to work with Kat, because he's now a starter, on how to take the loss, because Julius Randle is now out, and now DiVincenzo is out, so two starters are out now, and I know Julius Randle was not a starter in the last couple of months. But now they're integrating in Kat, and I think one other person in their team. So they're still trying to figure it out. I'm adding on the fact that they've gone on the road, to the team that has just won the championship, who are pretty much clear, who haven't lost anybody, who have added new pieces, new young players as well. Who is like, and Boston is really like a connected team. They haven't lost like a big player, unlike these guys. So they had nothing to figure out Boston because it's basically the same team of the it's basically the same winning team that won the title, and a
Yeah.
couple of months in between, like a couple of resting months. And now another game has come back today. So I didn't expect the Knicks to win. And they may have been in shambles today, but I think they'll be fine. In a couple of weeks, in a couple of days when they figure it out. But I just expected that. I didn't think the Knicks were too bad. I just thought the Celtics were too good. That made the Knicks look too bad. Yeah, but they will figure it out. Of course, if you always have the Jalen Brownsons, you always have points there. It just depends on when they can execute them and how they execute these points. But I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be fine. Just that the Celtics made them look bad, and because the Celtics have it all figured out. Once again, the Celtics showed that they don't need. The Celtics have showed that they have great depth in their bench. In Sam Hauser, Peyton Pritchard, they trust these guys.
Yeah.
It's not just bench players or role players who they just bring in just because of minutes, restrictions, and you know, and saving players. And they bring them because they trust them, like legitimately. They can literally just switch in Jason Tatum out, bring in someone else as a starter, just to like play, like to rotate the players. They trust this bench of theirs. So once again, the Celtics show this great depth. They have the same coach. They didn't have anything like maybe the coach was or the assistant coach was on drugs. They didn't have any drama behind the scenes. So they're the same
Yeah.
team. And I didn't expect the Knicks to win. But they will be fine. That's what I gotta say. Even if they didn't win today.
I mean, I couldn't agree more with you because when you think about the Knicks and what they did tonight, I thought it was what you just described, right? The integration of Carlton Towns in the starting lineup kind of, switches up things a little bit, right? Being able to feature him offensively, and then how do we adjust defensively when he is the guy defending the paint, right? But then that's why, I think what kept them in the game and what they should be excited about is their bench, right? Their bench looked really good with McBride leading the way,
Yes,
and I
McBride. Yeah.
think, yeah, he's gonna be such a great addition to not addition. He's been there, but a great firepower off the bench. And if they can just tweak that thing a little bit, when it comes to cut and being able to use him effectively. And then you add on to how the bench looks. I think they have something onto them. But still, when we're still on the Knicks right now, talk to me. You mentioned something about um, what is his name, Bridges. Uh, his
Yes,
shoulder
Michael Bridges.
looking a little. Talk to me more about that.
So you know what I've been seeing before today, obviously,
Mm,
because I really like to first get my research before I make an opinion. Um, before I've been seeing like comments on media during the preseasons that Michael Bridges has changed his shot. I think he was like, I don't remember the digits clearly, but it was like a low percentage from 3 point line, like a very like lower than 25% during the preseason. And I'm like, what is happening? And then everyone is like commenting about how he's changed his shot, about how he's now awful shooting, about then I watched NBA today, the Malika Andrews host thing. Yeah, the Malika thing. And then she's also talking about how Michael Bridges is struggling for the 3 point line and everything. Then I watch him today. Now I'm like, yeah, this guy has lost. You can see his form. Like his shot is so weird now. Like it's weird. Like it's a weird form. I don't know how to describe it, but he has a hitch, and it's a weird way
okay.
of throwing the ball. And I feel like it's costing the team. I think today it was like two for 19 or something, which is like bad. It's like or like 6 for 19, which is bad. And everyone is saying how he needs to change because if he keeps on shooting like this, it's awful. It's awful. There's nothing more to say, just that he needs to improve. And of course, he as a player, he knows it better than us. That he is not shooting well, and I don't know how it comes from. Did he just wake up one night and change his shooting form? Because he was a good shooter. All of a sudden, did he wake up and he's now shooting badly? But he needs to get better.
No,
That's why
I
you
do think I do think, today he looked a little rusty, but it's been a long time since he's been playing. All his time, he was on good teams and he was able to go into the postseason and kind of, but this year he had such a long off season. But I don't think just because he's got such a high release, and he kind of goes way above the head and breaks the
have.
some sort of
Actually, he was
anchor
two for
break.
seven. 2 for 7,
Mm.
29% from three.
I mean,
That's bad.
I'm not really worried about Michael
But two
Bridges.
for
He will
seven,
be
it's
fine.
not really bad.
Yeah, yeah,
But still, he needs to change. He needs to get better.
yeah. But don't you think it's maybe more because he is this the off season, the first game? Don't you think he will come around after a few practices?
I hope so. I don't know if he will, but I hope so. I mean, certainly because the season is very long and everyone is going to play a lot of games. So I hope he figures it out. And yeah, I mean, because he's a starter, so he cannot afford to be dropping less than 20% from the 3 point line. If he was a bench player, I wouldn't worry. But as a starter, he needs to play better. Otherwise, this guy McBride will steal his spot, his job.
I agree. I agree. He might be coming off the bench, but with his defensive ability, he will still be in the starting lineup. But really, Malcolm, I have a question for you, and this one goes, still on the Celtics and Knicks, right? Given how much the Celtics showed so many threes last year, right? They come into the season and they open with threes this year. Do you think this puts pressure on the rest of the league to kind of, because I know, like we talk about, yes, the league has a the evolution of the league being able to shoot three, blah blah blah, but do you think it's gonna kind of put on pressure other teams to be able to shoot more threes and make them?
Yeah, this is like the easiest question you've asked all night. Because yes, absolutely. It definitely puts pressure. I think you saw with the Lakers as well with JJ Redick. He told the team to shoot more threes. And everyone, even the
Mm,
Timberwolves, they shoot more threes. So Lakers and Timberwolves had like a very high percentage of shooting because they had a limited number of attempts, like a limited sample size, because they don't take a lot of threes. That's why your percentage is higher. But if you take a lot of threes, the more the error and the more the discrepancy of missing a lot. That's why it's like lower. So just like you see, like way like Steph Curry can have like he shoots like for 30% or like 35%. That's a very low compared to like Grayson Allen who shoots 48% because he has like Grayson Allen shoots like a lower sample size, but you know what I'm saying. So the Lakers and Timberwolves, I think the main point coming into this season was to take more threes. You saw AD as well taking more threes, and that's a very good example because obviously the game's happening today. But coming tomorrow as well, we're going to see the Phoenix Suns take more threes. We're going to see a lot of people take more threes because people have realized now that these days the NBA has changed. Like it's about taking more threes. At least, I mean, Lakers today shoot 28 threes. We barely shoot that even in 2 games. Like we don't take a lot of threes, and even the ones we take, we make little shots. I think that's why Lakers is just not a 3 point shooting team because we make very little threes, and naturally the
Yes.
NBA forced the now to learn how to take these threes. That's why we needed like a 3 point sniper like Dalton Connect. Um, who wasn't as great today compared to his preseason game,
Hey,
but we'll talk
don't
about
go
him
away from
later.
my script.
We'll
Stop
talk about
going to your
him later.
Lakers.
We'll talk about him later. I'll talk about Lakers later. But on the point of 3 point shooting, yeah, the league is going to have to shoot more 3 point shots because if you look at the Denver Nuggets and the Celtics, the Warriors, the past three champions, they were shooting threes, especially the Boston Celtics. I mean, they are off it. I mean now Boston, right? Boston is good at threes, right? But what they are good at
Yeah.
is also in the paint as well. So they're good both in the paint and at threes. But there was a time Boston was just kicking the ball out for any position, any single position, and kicking the ball out, especially last season. But now they have figured out that sort of balance, which is why I'm very impressed with them. That balance between taking threes and
And being able to.
and being in the paint because on the games they won, they would win like terribly, like by 40 points, they would blow out like massively. And when the three is not dropping, they would lose like badly. Like by halftime, they would be like down 25. But now they're trying,
Yeah.
they're just from the playoffs, they began figuring out that balance, between getting paint points and the three, which is going to make them even better. But definitely, teams would have to make more threes now with the way the NBA is progressing, the new generation of the NBA.
I mean, I couldn't agree anymore. And you talk about how much JJ Redick has been emphasizing them to take threes, take them, and they will start falling asleep. And when you look at the Warriors coming preseason, 28 threes. It's just raining threes everywhere. But let's go to somebody that I think we need to talk about a little more here. Last year, the Knicks made their run all the way to the conference, the I think semi-finals. Yes, when they lost to
Yes,
the
semi-finals.
Indiana Indiana
Pacers.
Fever, Pacers, not Fevers. Now I'm messed up because the W, but and Draymond Green in particular called it a funky season for them, and some other people in the league called it a little bit of, yeah, it's a one-time thing. But now you take away Julius Randle, who was supposed to be your second star player, and then you bring in Cut. Do you think with the people that they have now, and in Anonobi and Michael Bridges and Cut, do you think Jalen Brunson has the help he needs to get over the hump?
Yeah, I don't agree with the point of people saying that Knicks was a one time wonder. More like the Pacers beat them, but Pacers was a one time wonder, like the opposite. I think the Knicks are here to stay now. I think the Knicks have
Okay,
figured it out.
okay.
Yeah, that's what I believe at least. You may not believe the same thing, but I think the Knicks are here to stay with Jalen Brown. So I feel like Knicks are very good, especially when it comes to clutch time. And playoffs are usually determined by what can you do in the last 5 minutes of the game. And this is what they are good at. I mean, they were the third team in clutch time after the Lakers and the OKC in winning games. So I feel like the Knicks are here to stay now. Whether you remove Cut, whether you bring in any other player, I feel like Jalen Brunson is carrying this team to greater heights. Obvious with all other role players they have. But no. They lost a lot of good players. They lost Hartenstein.
That
They've
that's
lost
that's
now Julius
why.
Randle. If OG Anunoby gets injured again, also maybe it will impact them a lot. But I feel like they lost. Is Mitchell Robinson still playing as well? Because these were the
No, he
guys
is,
who are
but he's injured.
yeah, but if they can be all healthy, if they can all be healthy, I feel like Brunson can still carry them. But they have to first figure out what's happening now with the current squad, obviously. But when they do, and they usually figure it out, I feel like they're here to stay. Give me the Bucks, I think the Knicks will still beat them. Give me the Heat, I still feel like the Knicks will beat them. So until they actually beat them, I'm still ready for the Knicks to be where they are. I feel like they're here to stay.
Yeah, you look at. I think when they saw what Michael Bridges was doing in the Nets and just being able to, carry the Nets a little bit, they were like, we can have more scoring from him, and then OG Ononobi's, breakout season and all that, but we'll see. It's game one. It's game
We'll see,
one
we'll
of
see.
eight
That's a good
more
thing.
games to come. But yeah, congrats to the Celtics wearing their banner and I mean the rings and putting up their
Amazing.
banner again.
Ring number 18.
Yeah, and just some sort of commercial break right now. I just want to throw something out here. The inside guys are back. Chuckster,
Yeah,
Chuck,
but this is their final year,
Ernie,
right?
and Kenny. But that's what I'm saying. Like that's the reason I'm putting it out here. Come on now, don't ruin this moment. So it's their last season.
Yeah,
At
last year.
least that's what is being said, right? Could be
Yeah,
extended.
no,
Nobody
it can't.
knows.
They confirmed it. These guys also said it's the end of an era.
I
It's their
mean,
last
let's
year.
hope
The
it's
contract
not.
runs out.
Let's hope it's not.
Yeah, but I
You
mean,
know,
even if it's not, the one point one day it will come when it'll be done.
I
Everything
know,
comes
I
to an
know,
end. So
I know,
it
I
may be
know, I
next
know.
year, this year, it will still come. Next year will still come faster than you know
Yeah,
it. Can you
but is
believe?
this?
Can you believe like I'm also from my second year, but I graduated from ALA last year, like 14 months ago. So you can't believe it. So it will still come to pass, but they are going to be missed. Hey,
Yeah,
they will be missed. They were a good team, but actually today they were in Boston, like
yeah. Which is
the city hall square,
why
and I
in
know that
Cleveland?
place because I had class, night class.
Okay. All right. All
Yeah,
right. Next time, make sure you don't have night class. But really, it's good to see them. It's good to see them. And just seeing Chuck and
and Shaq.
Kenny and Shaq trying to fall down on a sleepy froze, but whatever. But congrats to the Boston Celtics once again. And moving on, Malcolm, we had your Lakers versus Timberwolves in Crypto Arena, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, at home.
Yes, they were in Crypto Arena because I remember the last preseason they played, they couldn't play from there because they were renovating stuff. But this is what I want to start with, right? The addition of JJ Redick. What does that mean for the Lakers, given how you saw preseason and this game?
Yeah, wait. First of all, do you notice the difference between my videos on Instagram and on YouTube? Like
Yes, I
one is
did.
one is very dark, one is very light. Anyways, JJ Redick, like I still feel like the preseason and one game of regular season is still a very small sample size to determine what effect he has had. But so
Yeah,
far,
but
from
that's
what he
that's
has
why I
had,
just want you to tell me what did you see? Like I
yeah,
want to see the good stuff.
from what I've seen so far, he's looked good. From what I've seen so far, he's looked good. Not just today because of the win, but he's looked good generally, even in the preseason. He's definitely looked better than Davinham. He caused timeouts when needed. That I will never forget. And he has a good sense of rotation, a good sense of switching, a good sense of. He has some interesting tactics, which I'll talk into some interesting tactics later on. But he's looked good so far, and I feel like he is going to help the Lakers massively. And see, the thing is, the thing about NBA coaches is, okay, it's my unpopular opinion. I feel like it doesn't really matter who the coach is. I feel like it's more on
Mm.
the players. I feel like if the players are um big time, even if the coach is not very big time, the players are have a higher weight percentage on helping the team than a coach who is big time and fake players. For example, Tyron Lue is a big time coach, but his
Yeah.
players are like it's a weaker squad. But if you have very good players, even if we didn't have JJ Redick, I still feel like Lakers has good enough players. If you have LeBron and AD, you're always going to have wins in you and good performances in you. But with what I'm seeing with JJ Redick as a rookie coach, he's looked decent. And everyone is now looking to judge him because he was an announcer last year talking
Uh-huh.
about how the flaws of every team. So now let's see if he can correct those flaws. And from what I'm seeing, Hachimura is playing better. LeBron doing his thing. AD was absolutely brilliant. But I'm still looking to see on our PG. Um Dilo. Dilo. Dilo has question marks. And I want to see how JJ Redick moves about him if he switches him out of the starting role. I can see he's playing Gabe Vincent a lot now. So I'm noticing that as well. Playing Maxwell Lewis, and all these other guys. But
Yeah.
Dilo, I want to see how Dilo is progressing because Dilo is not consistent. And I don't think JJ has full trust in him yet. As to now, he has to earn it. But I feel like all the other guys have sort of like bonded well with him, inside the court, outside the court. There's nothing like LeBron was having a podcast with him, stuff like that. I feel like Lakers is still playing fluid and a couple of two, three things defensively and offensively, but we look good, And I feel like JJ Redick has done a very good job because the club was in shambles with a lot of talks, a lot of noise. But I feel like he has settled it down to our level. Let's just go and put what we can do on the pitch. Obviously, it has only been one game, but what we shall determine is how we react to the losses because we know that we are going to lose at least 20 games, at least 20 or 30 games. So we are going to see how he reacts, how he responds to a press conference, how he talks, his pep talks after a loss or after a win, to determine what he really has done. But so far, it looks good. It looks fair. It looks good. It
I
looks good.
mean, I mean, I agree with you. I do agree for sure. He's looked good, and in particular, last year your Lakers were everywhere. The offense will either run through Reeves and
Yeah,
AD,
it's
pick
our
and roll,
transition
and
defense.
that's it.
Our transition defense was good. Today it was
You
good.
know, Eh, and then at times they will run through LeBron. He will just have the ball and trying to make plays on the court, right? But now, you come out of the timeout and there is a play being run for a Kane, a play being run for a Gabe Vincent, the guys that just came off the bench to kind of get their confidence
Yeah.
going, right? And then there is like also a sense of encouragement to Anthony Davis, like, hey, you are our best player. We're gonna run everything through you,
Anthony
right?
Davis is in his prime, bro. This guy is in his prime. But school LeBron.
Yeah, But
Anthony
but but
Davis
like
is the head.
but like that's the point. Like JJ Redick is using him how he's supposed to be used, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think this year Anthony Davis is going to have a breakout year. Last year he was robbed with all these awards, this goddamn giving him NBA third team. Apparently, all the defensive team was like the second team. Yet he was supposed to be like the defensive player as well. But now I
Hmm.
feel like this year he's going short, he's done. I mean, he's begun with a double double today. It was brilliant. And you saw back on the Jeridic, you saw how our transition defense, from what I saw, our transition defense
Yeah.
has improved a lot because last year we were in shambles defensively. And yet we had the best transition defense the previous year when we reached the Denver Nuggets in the Western Conference Finals, and those were the same players that were there last year. But somehow we forgot how to defend in transitions. But I feel like now with what I saw today in preseason, I feel like our transition defense has gotten so much better. And if our transition defense is better, we'll be unstoppable. We'll be unstoppable. So I'm liking what I'm seeing. I'm liking what I'm seeing. But of course, as I said, I have to wait for some losses, for some wins to
Yeah.
judge really what he has done. But so far, our defense has gotten better off the timeouts. The other players who are running have gotten better. Gabe Vincent, if he can get better, if Vanderbilt can come back as well, he will improve us
Hmm.
defensively. I don't know which kind of injury this is taking, a foot injury of all these months. Um,
And I
Consistency,
think
obviously, consistency from Austin Reeves, who looks like he will be consistent. You saw the and ones he was getting. But D'Lo, consistency from D'Lo, Camry, especially D'Lo, Camry, Gabe Vincent. I need consistency from these guys because we need role players. But if we can get that as well, at least 15 points a game from D'Lo. It doesn't have to be 25 because he's a point guard. No, at least okay 10. Then we
yeah.
have a point. Then we're cooking something. But I've liked what I've seen so far.
Incredible. But I agree with you. Some of the guys you mentioned need to stay consistent because that's the only way you can get over the sort of bumps that you guys had last year. And really one of the things that I think will help you guys if you guys do it right is Dalton Kane. And then
Mm,
today, it's his first game, the nerves and the feeling of just the
the
environment, it's
jitters.
opening night. But I thought the three and the pass, and the layup he had in transition. You can't see the maturity needed to kind
Yeah,
of play for for a team trying to
yeah,
contend for a
definitely. You
championship.
can see that he's here to stay. He belongs in the Lakers.
Yeah,
Obviously, the rookie jitters is his first game. It was against a good team, so obviously his limits are going to be limited. If our opening game was against like the Rockets, maybe he would have played more minutes, but it was against the Timberwolves, and we really needed this win. A matter of fact, it was our first win on opening night since 2016. So I think I don't know. AD played more than 30 minutes. Like I think JJ really needed this win, to open up his account in the NBA and against a very good team, the Timberwolves. So his minutes are limited. I think we also saw Bronny's minutes also like very limited.
yeah.
That's part when he came on in the second quarter. Um, Other rookies also like were benched and stuff. But
No, I mean,
Jackson Hayes, that was
mhm.
good. That was good,
I
and
mean,
Jackson Hayes was good. He was good.
Jackson Hayes is gonna be one of the reason. But real quick, hi Sammy, hi Farouk, yeah, and the rest of the people. I can't really see everybody, but Jackson Hayes is your second big, right? And
Yeah, he
if
is now.
AD is on the bench, you need that guy to step up, right? So I think he showed that he can
He's,
do that tonight.
he was
And
good. He's always been good defensively. It's just that he was giving us at most 2 points in a game. But what I'm seeing
mm,
so far now offensively, I mean, today defensively he was good. There was a shot from a three, he deflected. He was making blocks, so he's looked good defensively. And offensively, with all the dunks, with them lobs, converting them when we need them, he is looked good, and he is going to be our second what? Our second
big
big man.
off the bench.
Yeah. So I hope he sustains
And
consistent. But we'll see. We'll see.
yeah,
It's
yeah, I mean
positive.
he jumps a lot, but I also think he gives
Yeah,
you
he's
like
bouncy.
yeah, yeah. Kirus high and Malcolm. Let's talk about an aggressive Hachimura. Yeah, an aggressive Hachimura. What can he be to these Lakers? Because he's been so bad in crucial moments, if you will, sometimes. But what do you think if he stays aggressive as he was today? Do you think he might be the piece that you guys have been looking for?
Yeah, I talked about the third man, Lakers having a third man to rely on after LeBron and AD, or after AD and LeBron, in whichever order you prefer. I think it can be Hachimura. Matter of fact, I think it will be Hachimura with what I'm seeing. He's getting the ball a lot more. He's aggressive a lot more. He's like our he's like our third biggest man. So he's very important for both defense and offense. And I feel like Hachimura, he's going to step up. But Hachimura has always been good, especially the last season when we reached the Western Conference Finals. Obviously, it wasn't last season. And even last season, he showed some places when he was good in the playoffs in specific. But somehow at the end of the fourth quarters and the times when you really needed him, the ball was being given to LeBron. But I feel like now he's sort of like being trusted more. And all he needs is that trust. And Hachimura, he's good, he's aggressive, he can take on Nasrid. You could see him take on Nasrid, getting fouls from Rudy Gobert. He's aggressive. And Hachimura aggressive, I mean he's good. His jumper is also his three. No, yeah, not that he's going to shoot make all these points or all these shots that he shot attempts, but with an aggressive Hachimura, your question, as you said, an aggressive Hachimura is Lakers' third reliability. And if you can stay aggressive in the game, aggressive all the time, Hachimura is gonna give me at least 15 points every game. An aggressive Hachimura.
I
And
mean,
actually, last season at the end, Lakers really like starting poorly but ending really highly. That span when he ended really strongly to get into the play-in number eight seed. Hachimura was like that guy, like Davinham was giving the ball a lot to, you know, he was the one who was getting us. I mean, there was a time he had like 40 points in a game. He had like a career high as well, and that's the Hachimura we have been getting used to. So the only bad thing we're worried about is the inconsistency he was last year. But if we can see the Hachimura that we had before last year, that's it's gonna be he's fire. He's fire. He's a real deal. He's the real deal.
I agree. I agree. Just if they can trust him more and feature him more in the offense, it's gonna do so much for them. And closing on the Lakers a little bit before we go to the T Wolves, um, we have now a father-son duo in the NBA
Yes,
for the
sir.
first time. Bronny and LeBron, they kind of put out the stats of 2 minutes and two for five and all that. But you know what does it mean? I mean, we all know it means a lot for LeBron just having his son and playing with him on the same team at this age, in the time he's been in the league. But what do you think it is for Bronny to just be able to get minutes with the starters going forward? Do you think it's gonna boost his confidence? Do you think maybe he's gonna get more confidence to kind of help him maybe coming next season?
Yeah, they asked the same question, the announcers today, I am Igor and Candice Parker. They were asking the same question about how Bronny will integrate into the Lakers team. But I think getting the minutes to him today was all about making history and, nice welcome. And JJ they had to bring him on because a lot of people attended, a lot of big people attended just to see that. So it would be weird if he didn't play him on another day. He was not gonna get played obviously because of Timberwolves, but he had to play him. He played him those minutes, and he was like, okay, that's done now. Now let's win the game. But it was a good moment. In the post game conference, you could see LeBron saying it meant a lot to him, and he thanks God for that opportunity, and he doesn't take it for granted. And also, Bronny was like, yeah, this means a lot to me. Now it's time to get into my game, to learn my game, to build on my
Hmm.
confidence, to build myself. Speaking about confidence, to build my shot. Yeah, against NBA defenders. Bronny, he looks like he is going to be a good talent. And in the announcers, all the commentators say that they think he should go to the G League instead of sitting on the bench for like the whole game. And only coming on like when we're winning the game by 20 points for like those remaining 1 minutes. Instead of doing that, go to the G League, build your skills, then come back, come back, and now you know how to take on players, because now we are sort of just creating shots for him, and he's like afraid of taking his own shots. But I'm sure he does. I'm sure questions about confidence, Bronny's confidence. No, as a player, if you reach that sort of level, you don't doubt yourself. Because you
Yeah.
shoot 0 points doesn't mean you're not confident in yourself. No, that's it's a very different scenario. Um, it may be that maybe the calls that the coach is running, the plays is running, you're not getting the ball, or you don't get a chance to shoot, or you shoot tough shots because the clock is running down and they pass to you. It doesn't mean you're not confident. I think he's confident in how he is, because if he wasn't confident, he wouldn't be where he is in the first place. He wouldn't get drafted. But he's confident about himself. That's why he chose to stay in the draft and not to decline and to continue with USC. He's confident about his game, and he's confident he can develop. Obviously, he's not gonna be playing like Giannis right now. He's still a beginner, he's still a rookie, no
Yeah.
minutes, no experience. But coming into the court for the first minutes, enjoying it with the audience, feeling how it sounds, playing against one of the best rising stars in Anthony Edwards. This guy is getting the experience. I hope he can build this experience. So when he comes back next time, he's impactful for the Lakers. Yeah, so I have full confidence in him. I think he can develop, and I think he'll be there. But what really mattered today was not to judge him on how many points he produced. Nope, it was just to see, it was to what really mattered today.
Make history.
Getting that feeling, how it feels to play with his dad, and how it feels to be playing with NBA players. And I think he achieved that today, and he was really proud for today's moment. And every fan was proud, and you saw the standing ovation when they were coming in. And it's history, and nothing to say but history, and this is history. So big ups to Bronny, big ups to LeBron, but this is history.
I mean, I'm gonna quote you. This is something you would say, right? This is not my words, and I'm just saying this. I don't know whether you, but I do know you would say this. You know, think about this. If it's you saying this, right? Brony has the confidence, like you just said. He is really confident. To show that, Malcolm would say something like, "He had more points than Clay Thompson in preseason." Right,
Yes,
so
sir.
we can't really question his confidence. And
Oh,
this is
I
you.
forgot.
Look,
How did I forget to say that, bro? How did I forget to say that, bro? This
I
guy
think
had
I just
26 points in the preseason. Clay had 21, bro. Clay is a liability. If
no, no, no,
Bronny has
no,
more
no.
points
You
than
can't
you,
do like that, Clay.
you're
Clay is
careless.
still a good player. It's just that he hasn't been integrated in Dallas yet. But let's not
Bro,
get carried away. But
even in
that's
Warriors, Clay Brickson,
Clay is still
Brickson.
a good player, and I think he's gonna help the Mavs really a
Yeah,
lot. But let's move on a little bit, right? You have the Timberwolves. They make a trade, get they acquired, you know, Dante DiVincenzo and Julius Randle, and Rob Derringham, who wasn't supposed to be there after the draft, but they acquired him too. And right now, I'm just looking like I think they kind of fumbled this trade, bringing Julius Randle. I don't know what you think, and I want to hear what you think before I say anything. But I do think they fumbled the trade. What did you think about the T Wolves?
I gotta say, I was shocked. I was shocked when they traded Cat. If there was someone that I thought they would trade was like Gobert, because look, I was cooking him day in day out. But I was shocked they traded Cat. I was really shocked. But at the same time, from what I saw today, it looks like Nasrid is going to have a little bit more of a role when he comes off the bench, because Kat is out, and he can also shoot threes, which Kat would do as well. So he's also going to have more of a role defensively. Also, he's covering for Kat as well. But they also have Jaden McDaniels. But concerning the trade, I was kind of shocked. It was like a surprise to me that they traded him. I don't know what to say apart from I was shocked. I was surprised. Do I think it's a good deal? Nah, I don't think it's a good deal. I don't think it's a good deal. But maybe you never know. It may turn out to be a good deal, because they got two players for cards. So with DiVincenzo and Rando. So if they can figure it out with Rando, maybe it's gonna be
Yes.
a great deal. But for now, obviously both teams need to figure out, and obviously, you saw with the way they play today, it sort of looked like the way Knicks play today, trying to integrate how it works with Julius Randle. At first, Julius Randle was even hesitating to make some shots, but as the game went on, you saw him developing his confidence in taking shots, and making them, getting and ones as well. So Julius Randle is good. But for the trade, I was shocked. But Anthony Edwards is gonna carry this team. Let's not make it seem like as if they traded Anthony Edwards, because that will be like the real plot twist. But in terms of cut, I was shocked, and I mean it's life, it's NBA, it's a business, so nothing should
Yeah,
shock you
but
anymore.
that's where I think we're missing the point because they traded Cart, not Anthony Edwards, right? And then you bring in
Yeah, they can't
Julius
they can't
Randle.
trade they can't trade Anthony Edwards. Like, are you serious?
Exactly.
It's like,
I think the problem isn't taking away Cart. I think the problem is his replacement, right?
yeah,
Because
his replacement.
Julius Randle has a whole different game compared to Cart, right? And
Yeah,
now you have a guy who wants to play in the post, who is a little bit ball dominant in Julius Randle. How are you gonna manage, Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle being the two guys? You saw what happened in Phoenix, right? Booker, KD, and Bill both being ball dominants. They one couldn't become a point guard, right? They had to acquire a point guard to help them, manage the way that the ball moves
the
around the court.
balance. Yeah.
Right. So how do you manage Randall and Edwards? And today I saw that firsthand because Anthony Edwards is just Anthony Edwards, right? He's gonna keep the ball regardless of who you are. He don't care. He gonna shoot it, right? And I saw sometimes Randall stand, really stand, put the hand up, the ball isn't coming, and he's just standing there, right? So how does he move around the ball? How does he screen? How does he cut to be able to be effective regardless of him having the ball? I think that would be the biggest challenge for them.
Yeah, that's a
And
good
then
question for the coach, not for me. So you'll figure
well,
it
you
out.
gotta tell us. You are the inside guy now. You gotta tell the coach to do it. But the other question I want you to tell me something about is their defense, right?
Yeah, they didn't
Defensively,
look
they
they didn't
looked a little slower. I'm sure they still have much of their defenders, and I think they will catch up. But there is just something that isn't clicking, and maybe it's because it's been a trade and they need to like regroup and all that, and it takes time. But Randall and Anthony Edwards are still going to be a problem. And now you have Rudy Gobert, right? You know, uh, he's a good defender, protects the rim. But I just feel like Card was a good addition right next to him. I do like Nasrid. But then if Nasrid comes to starting lineup, who do you leave on the bench?
Nakilo.
Bro, you just call
Alexander
his
Walker.
names. But I do think that they need to do a little bit of more work of defensively. and also
Yeah,
just being able to
they
make
look
the ball.
terrible. They look terrible defensively. I mean, Lakers ain't that great offensively to offensively, but today they made Lakers seem like I don't know, prime Chicago Bulls, like with throwing around lobs everywhere. Like, like, bro, what are these guys doing? They looked confused, like someone goes on the back post when they don't know that someone's there. On
Thank
transition
you.
defense, they looked awful, which is very unlike Wolves because Wolves were like the best defense last year in the West.
That was the
So it's very
identity.
unlike them. So I hope they figure it out because they look terrible today. But give them props for offensive. They stayed in the game. You know, Lakers was like 19 points at one time ahead, so they stayed around 10 points to 12 points around there. But you couldn't feel that sense that they would come back. You know, because of their defense. Whenever they would score, they would score. They score, we score. They
I
score, we
mean
score.
that
So you
that's
never
why
really felt that sense that Lakers is going to lose because Lakers just kept on handling it, kept on scoring whenever they would turn over the ball, and they had too many turnovers for crying out loud. So I hope they figure it out. Uh,
I
but I
do
mean,
think they will.
and I repeat, it's just one game, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
one out of 82
We have
games. So 81 more
every
games. So
many.
then 81 more games for them to figure it out, and they definitely will. That's the good thing about NBA. You know, rather than NFL, NFL you only have 18 games to go into playoffs. 18, actually 17. So you mess up one game, you're already in risks
Yeah.
of not going. But NBA, bro, you can even lose 50 games and still win the title. So, so that's the good thing about it.
I actually thought that JJ Redick isn't really looking for a rookie year. I think he's looking to go all in into a championship run right
Yeah,
away. I,
what do you think Lakers expects him to do? You think Lakers want him to be in the playoffs? Nah, bro. A
yeah,
team like
but of
Lakers,
course,
the expectation is to win the championship every year because that's your
of
legacy.
course, if you have LeBron and AD,
Exactly. So
obviously you have to go for it.
exactly. So that's the point. That's the point, and that's why I'm impressed with what I'm seeing so far. But again, it's just one game, so
81 more to
it
go. Anyways,
won't
thank you so
go.
much, Malcolm, for making the time.
Yes,
This
sir.
and to the people who are live, thank you for joining in. We'll be going live after games, and we'll be letting you know a couple hours before we go live, just so you are available and make the time to actually go live. Um, we might start doing early morning lives just for the people who are going to work and just be able to listen. Probably put some of this show on the on what do you call it, SoundCloud and what is the other thingy that people stream music on? Spotify.
Spotify.
Yes, Spotify, and then that way you can have the audio too, because it's really important that people get to tune in all the ways they can. But Malcolm, do you have anything else before we get out of here?
Nah, I just want to say, come on, Lakers, let's win this chip.
Oh, that's not what I
But thank
expected.
you
But
guys. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you to everyone who's followed us. Thank you to everyone who's supporting us on YouTube, on Instagram. Don't forget to subscribe, to like, to follow, to share, to comment, and to do your thing, man. Thank you guys, and we'll see you very soon. So from now,
yeah,
good night
yeah.
for me.
And
Peace. Good night for
Malcolm,
me.
also we will be, our next live will be live on 3 platforms, including Twitter. So we're
Ah,
growing little bit. Yeah, I
okay,
feel
good. Good
I
luck with
feel like
that
we've
marketing.
been missing a lot. Yeah, I love
Good luck with
Twitter
that
now.
marketing manager.
I'm loving Twitter now. I think we can put it out there. But yeah, everybody on YouTube, subscribe, hit the like button, share if you can. On Instagram, follow us. It's the game today everywhere. I'm out of here. We wish every NBA team and every fan a good season, incredible season. God bless all of you. God bless the world. See
Good
you.
night,
Peace out.
guys. Good night, guys.